Hello, what is up guys? Evil Duos Arm here today, back with another Black Desert video. Keeping with the common theme for Black Desert videos as of late, this was another video request that came through one of my Twitch live streams that happen every single weekend at 10 AM Eastern Standard Time. And the request is a pretty simple one. Levi, we know you don't play this game all the time, so how do you go about making your money on a limited play schedule? So what I'm going to do in this video is go through all the different activities you can do in Black Desert to make money, and give you some suggestions as to which ones are the best ones to do on a limited play schedule. Say you can only play an hour or two every single day, basically. Now quickly, before we get into this video, if you're new to the channel, new to Black Desert, or enjoy the content on the channel, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. You'll stay up to date when new content and guides like this come out, and it would really help to grow my channel. Without further ado, let's get into it, and let's start taking a look at this list I put together, showing all the different activities you can do to make money. So I'm going to be honest with you, I tried putting together a list of all the different activities, assigning them an earnings value, the amount of time you could spend on any given day to them, a return, and it just doesn't work. There's so many different variables to it. So really the best way to do this is to break it down into 3 different types of categories. You have your AFK activities that you can do where you don't have to be anywhere near your computer. You can set it up to run, you can go to work, you can go cook dinner, you can go to school, whatever you got to do. These are your AFK, completely AFK activities. Then you got your semi-AFK activities that you can do while you're doing something else. So if you're playing a different game on the side, or if you're like working from home and totally not following company policy, things you can do where you don't have to have your whole attention to the game. You just got to click it, and every 10, 15, 20 minutes you need to check in on it, set it up, and then go back again. And then finally you have your fully active, 100% active playtime activities where you need to be doing it constantly. There's no AFK moment to it, you are constantly playing the game. Now, it should be no surprise to you that if you do the activities that require you to actually play the game, you're going to make the most money, followed by the semi-AFK, followed by the completely AFK making the least money. So pretty straightforward with that. If you have 2 hours to play the game uninterrupted, you should do something on this lower bit of the list. If you don't, something less. Straightforward. Now, each of these activities within each of these brackets has its own thing that would make you want to choose it over another one within its own bracket. So we're going to go through all these little major differences between all these different activities to help give you an idea as to which ones of these you might want to pick based on your play schedule. Keep in mind that for 90% of the videos that are inside of this list, I have a separate video that goes into extreme detail explaining the life skill and how to do it. So this video is not going to tell you how to do any of these, it's just going to tell you which ones you might want to look into further on my channel. So anyway, starting right off the bat, the first one you're going to want to do, regardless of anything else that you do, is set yourself up a node empire. So once again, if you have no idea what a node network is, check out my video on node networks. But basically, you set up your workers in a different city to go out and grab their materials from different nodes, and then you either process it or sell it on the marketplace. Pretty straightforward. My network is super simple. I think it's only like 70-something contribution points, and it nets me a couple million silver per day for doing absolutely nothing. Literally nothing. I just log in and click a button and I get the free money. It's the easiest income source with the least amount of effort. Piggybacking off of that and picking the next easiest income source, it's actually all of your free dailies or whatnot that you get just for logging into the game. Every single day you log in, make sure to check the present icon in the bottom corner of the screen, which has all of these different freebies that you get. You might get something nice that you can go ahead and sell or use for crafting to make more money. Likewise, check your Black Spirit safe to pick up your free money that you get here. Collect your guild money every single day so that you get that added into your inventory. And finally, roll your Black Spirits Adventure. So on this main tab, reward Black Spirits Adventure. Click that, click the little dice in the bottom corner, and collect your free crap. This little checklist also takes like 30 seconds, but you'll be surprised how many people forget to claim their free money every single day. Now moving on to the actual activities that are full on AFK, you have AFK fishing, AFK horse training, processing, alchemy, and cooking. All of these activities can be completely AFK. Alchemy and cooking realistically can only go for a few hours before you're going to go overweight inventory-wise or run out of stuff to actually process. So these are good for like shorter bursts, like if you got to go do something around the house real quick or if you're going to go cook dinner or something, you can do some alchemy or cooking, which also coincidentally net the greatest profit because they're not completely AFK. They're mostly, but you do need to check in on it every couple of hours. So these 2 life skills are going to net you some of the most profit in the complete AFK category. But once again, time limited. It can only run for a couple hours. AFK processing can go for a little bit longer, but nets a little bit less money. Once again, you're going to run out of inventory space or carry weight before you can get very far with that. Next up from there, as far as length that you'll be able to do it, is AFK fishing. AFK fishing is dictated by your character's inventory space, so if you have a lot of inventory slots from free events or whatnot, fishing might be for you. Otherwise, you're also going to be limited based on that and really only be able to fish for a couple of hours before your inventory maxes out. Until you get to higher levels of fishing anyway, which then you can just throw back all of the crap fish. The final activity that is only one that's like really truly AFK that you could just set up to run for literal hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and come back like maybe a day later is AFK horse trading. You can set your horse to run up and down on an auto path over and over and over and over again, and come back way later and have it leveled up and either be able to sell it, Imperial trade it, or whatever you're going to do with it. So depending on how much time you have to AFK, you're going to want to pick one of those different life skills. Moving on to the semi-AFK category, the first option is trade, and honestly this one sucks. I would not recommend it whatsoever. Now, if you do trade and fishing together, you do make decent money, but it's still not as good as any of the other life skills. The next one I'm going to look at is farming, and farming is kind of like a passive AFK, completely AFK, but you do need to do a little bit of work for it. It really goes hand in hand with either alchemy or cooking, so you're going to want to have a farm set up if you're doing alchemy and cooking. They kind of build off of each other pretty well. But once again, this doesn't net huge income, it's just more of a supplemental provider to this other more AFK life skills. The big one on the list that you're going to see a lot of people always doing out in the world of Black Desert is bartering. Bartering, when you get to the higher tiers of it, nets an insane amount of money. It's like up there with some of the other late game activities that you can be doing, if you do it completely actively where you're manually driving your boat. If you're just letting it semi-AFK and checking in every 20 minutes between emails that you're sending from work or doing a homework assignment or something, it's not going to net as much money. It also has a huge barrier to entry that you're going to have to spend a lot of money to get involved in, but once you get there, the reward is very much worth it. Moving on to the fully active activities that you can do where you actually have to full-on play the game every single minute here, we're going to see a couple of favorites that you'll always see mentioned between different categories, plus a few that you might not have heard of. So the first one is obviously grinding. 97.3827% of all people in Black Desert will tell you to go and grind. It's a stat, I've looked it up, I have 100% confirmation in the accuracy of that stat. But grinding is not the only way to make money in Black Desert, and sure, it definitely is one of the best ways to make money. But I am convinced that gathering items in Black Desert, being a life skiller that goes out and gathers different raw resources, nets you more money than grinding at the same gear level. So if I took 500,000 silver and bought gathering gear versus 500,000 silver and bought combat gear, I definitely would be able to make more money with the gathering gear than I would the grinding gear. The lower cost to entry to get into gathering will let you make a lot more money. Now, keep in mind that your gathering is limited by your energy stat. So if you do not have a lot of energy in Black Desert, you will not be able to gather for a long period of time. That's why I would recommend, if you are like just getting into Black Desert, looking to make money on a limited play schedule, would be to gather through all of your energy and then go and grind. Those are going to be your two greatest income sources. The gathering through that energy will make you a lot of money, and then grinding whatever you can grind gear-wise. If you're looking on where to grind, if you open up the pause menu, go to the adventure tab and the item drop menu, you'll be able to see all the different things that drop, plus the recommended AP for each of these different areas. So trying to find a place that has a recommended AP that's a little bit below what you're currently sitting at, that also has good drops that are worth a lot of money. I can't go over every single grinding spot in this video, just look through this menu and give yourself a solid idea of where you might want to try. Now, a surprise one that I'm going to throw on this list is hunting. Hunting actually makes a pretty solid amount of money. The problem is it takes a long time to get started, and it's kind of a confusing system. So if you're looking for something that's a bit different than gathering, even though they're both pretty much gathering, you might want to try hunting. I don't think it makes as much money as gathering or grinding, but it definitely makes a solid amount of money when you're actively doing it and know what you're doing. It probably doesn't make as much money as fully active bartering as well, but it's definitely up there as one of the higher income activities in Black Desert. The next one I want to talk about are your Dark Rift bosses that pop up in the bottom right corner of the screen. If you're playing on a limited time schedule, you might want to let them stack up and then just do them all in one day, so you can do them in a big loop rather than saying, "Aw crap, I gotta travel to this side of the map and then I gotta come back over here later." Just knock them all out in one day. The only benefit to completing them earlier is that they will respawn faster. So if you're already playing on a limited time schedule and don't have the time to do them anyway, there's really nothing hurting you by doing them a little bit later and doing them in a big group. The drops will be exactly the same. You do not get worse drops if you let it sit for a couple of days. Now there's a few more things on the list, but I don't even want to bother mentioning them because they kind of really suck and they're not even worth doing. So if you're looking for like definitive recommendations from your boy Evil Duosarm over here and want to say, well, what do you do, Levi? This is what I do every single day. I'm not claiming that it's the best, but this is what I do whenever I can play. I will always go and gather. I think gathering makes the most money, and the items that I gather are based off of the Fluid Collector. The reason I use the Fluid Collector is because it gives me a lot of variety in what I can go and gather on a given day. If I want to go gather for Kaffir Stones, I can go and gather Tree Saps. If I want to gather Bloods for maximum profit, I can go and gather Bloods. So it gives me some options on what I can do. Now when I have all my buffs and gear popping, my gathering mastery is actually high enough to where I can afford to just straight up buy energy potions off of the central market and continue to gather indefinitely and still make a ton of money off of it. So if you're wondering what that number is, my gathering mastery caps out at about 1150 for gathering mastery, to the point where I can just keep gathering troll bloods or pig bloods or deer bloods or whatever I'm gathering at the time and just keep making a ton of money off of it. I do want to note that I do have the Hedgehog Pet, so the Hedgehog Pet is a huge reason as to why I can do this and make so much money off of it. After I've done my gathering or burned through my energy or have gotten bored of it, I'll go and do my Dark Rift bosses, and then if there's still time left from that, I will go and grind at a random location just to mix it up. I don't grind it because they're the best, it's just because I need something different to do. So that is my daily rotation. On top of that, what I would recommend, obviously, is to have yourself a node network setup so that you're making the free money every time you log in. Pick an AFK life skill to do. For me, the AFK life skill I picked is the Alchemy life skill. And then have yourself a farm set up. I don't have a farm set up right now because I need to make a video showing you how to set up a farm. So I literally took apart my farm to make a video on it, and I just haven't done it yet. So I would also have a farm running just because it's mostly AFK. You just got to go up to it and farm every once in a while. But anyway, guys, that is basically going to do it for this video. That is all I do. Those are all the different options for making money, their times, what I would recommend. So I do hope that this video is going to help you to progress in Black Desert. If you do like this video, if it is going to help you to progress, let me know in the comment section below. Also, make sure to leave a like. And once again, make sure you're subscribed so you stay updated when new content comes out to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you the next live stream over on Twitch, the next YouTube video, or wherever I happen to see you. Peace.